The kitchen door swung open. She didn't look up right away, assuming it was one of the staff. But then, a deep, amused voice drawled, "Didn't know angels worked for us now." She froze. When she looked up, her heart skipped. Standing there was Chul Park, the youngest of the infamous Park brothers. Tall, sharp, with lazy confidence in every movement. His black hair fell slightly over his brow, and his smile, oh, that dangerous, crooked smile, looked like trouble wrapped in charm. He leaned casually against the counter, watching her. "You're new," he said. "And you're in my kitchen," she replied coolly, not missing a beat. His grin widened. "Your kitchen? I like that. The new cook's got fire." "The new cook has boundaries," she shot back. "And knives." He laughed. Low, rich, and real. "Oh, I like you." It started with a lie. A dangerous, reckless lie. Maya Carter, the fierce investigative journalist known for her bold exposés, had one obsession: the Park Mafia brothers. Rumor said they controlled half the West Coast's underground. Rumor also said no one crossed them and lived. But Maya wasn't one to be scared off by whispers. She wanted the truth, the real story behind the legends. And to get it, she did something insane. She became their cook. It wasn't easy. She'd spent weeks training at a friend's restaurant, learning how to make Korean dishes so authentic that even the Park family's kitchen staff were impressed. Her fake resume, forged ID, and confident smile did the rest. That's how she found herself inside the lion's den, the Park mansion. And that's where she first saw Chul Park. It was her second day. She was in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, wrist deep in dough, humming softly as she worked. The kitchen door swung open. She didn't look up right away, assuming it was one of the staff. But then, a deep, amused voice drawled, "Didn't know angels worked for us now." She froze. When she looked up, her heart skipped. Standing there was Chul Park, the youngest of the infamous Park brothers. Tall, sharp, with lazy confidence in every movement. His black hair fell slightly over his brow, and his smile, oh, that dangerous, crooked smile, looked like trouble wrapped in charm. He leaned casually against the counter, watching her. "You're new," he said. "And you're in my kitchen," she replied coolly, not missing a beat. His grin widened. "Your kitchen? I like that. The new cook's got fire." "The new cook has boundaries," she shot back. "And knives." He laughed. Low, rich, and real. "Oh, I like you." Maya turned back to her dough, pretending to ignore him. But her pulse was racing, her mind screaming, "Play it cool, Maya. You make all this yourself?" he asked, stepping closer. "Do you always talk this much, Mr. Park?" she asked without looking up. He smirked, eyes glinting. "Only when someone interesting walks into my house." She glanced up then, finally meeting his gaze, and for a brief second, the air shifted. It wasn't just curiosity. It was tension, the kind that pulled, that warned, that thrilled. He noticed the faint scar near her wrist, the strength in her stance, the spark in her eyes. Not a typical cook. He knew it instantly. "You've got secrets," he said quietly. She smiled sweetly. "You've got too many questions." And just like that, the game began. Days passed, and Maya quickly became a favorite in the mansion. Her food was perfection. Even Ha-jun and Jun-seo, known for their seriousness, complimented her cooking. But Chul? He didn't come for the food. He came for her. He'd stroll into the kitchen at odd hours, just to watch her work, tossing playful jabs and wicked smiles like grenades. "You know, you don't talk like a cook," he said one evening, leaning against the counter. "And you don't eat like a human," she shot back. He chuckled. "You're bold. You're nosy. You're hiding something. And you're paranoid." They stared at each other for a long second, until he broke into that slow, devilish grin again. "If you're lying to me, Maya, I'll find out." Her heart stuttered because he said her real name. She hadn't told anyone, not even the staff. "What did you just call me?" she whispered. He stepped closer, his voice low. "I make it my job to know everyone under this roof. And something about you doesn't fit." She forced a small smile, masking her fear. Maybe you're just threatened by a woman who cooks better than you shoot. He laughed again, that dangerous sound that both terrified and thrilled her. You've got guts, he said softly, eyes burning into hers. Don't lose them. And then he left, leaving her heart pounding, her cover dangerously thin. That night, Chul sat in his room, pouring himself a drink. He replayed every detail about the new cook, her steady hands, her boldness, the way she didn't flinch around power. He'd met spies before, journalists, informants, but none of them made his heart race like this one did. He was supposed to be the one doing the hunting, so why did it feel like she had him trapped? He smirked to himself, sipping his drink. All right, little liar, he murmured under his breath. Let's see how long you can play this game. Later that night, Maya typed quietly on her hidden laptop in her small staff quarters. Her fingers trembled slightly. Subject: the Park brothers' internal access acquired. Notes: youngest brother suspicious. Extremely dangerous. Must stay alert. She paused, staring at the last line, then added softly to herself, and maybe too charming for his own good. She shut the laptop, leaned back on her bed, and whispered with a sigh, "Don't fall for him, Maya. Don't you dare." But deep down, she already knew. It was too late. The Park Mansion's private conference room wasn't like most business rooms. It was built like a war room. Heavy oak table, soundproof walls, monitors displaying shipment routes, coded ledgers and rival networks. Hajun sat at the head of the table, every inch the Mafia king he was. Beside him was Junseo, calm and calculating as always. Chul, the youngest, lounged in his chair, twirling a pen between his fingers, pretending to be bored. The deal with the Japanese investors is finalized, Hajun said, flipping through a file. But we need to expand distribution on the East Coast. Junseo, that's your focus this quarter. Junseo nodded. Already made contact with the intermediaries in Miami. Good. And Chul? Hajun paused, eyes narrowing slightly as he turned to his younger brother. You're handling the LA project. Chul grinned lazily. You mean the one with the politicians pretending to be saints? Should be fun. Junseo rolled his eyes. Try not to start another bar fight, will you? Chul smirked. No promises. Hajun's lips curved, just slightly, the closest thing he gave to amusement. But then his tone changed, cooler, heavier. There's one more thing. Someone new joined the mansion staff. Junseo raised a brow. You mean the cook? The one Charlotte won't stop praising. Hajun's gaze sharpened. Yes, her. What's her name? Chul didn't move. Maya. Maya what? Chul's smirk didn't falter. Didn't ask. Didn't think it mattered. Hajun set his pen down slowly. Everything matters, Chul. Especially new people. Junseo leaned forward. You think something's off? Maybe, Hajun replied evenly. The background check came back too clean. Too perfect. No gaps, no inconsistencies. People like that either don't exist or they're hiding something. Chul's jaw tightened, though he kept his expression unreadable. You think she's a threat? She cooks like a dream. Doesn't exactly scream assassin. Hajun's dark eyes met his. Assassins rarely do. The silence that followed was thick. Junseo tapped his fingers on the table. You want me to have someone follow her? Hajun shook his head. No, let's not spook her yet. Just observe. If she's harmless, fine. If not, his voice dropped lower. We'll deal with it. Chul exhaled slowly, forcing a casual tone. Maybe you're just paranoid. Paranoia keeps us alive, Hajun replied coldly. He gathered his papers, signaling the meeting's end. Chul, keep an eye on her. You spend the most time downstairs anyway. If anything feels off, I want to know first. Chul nodded, though his gut twisted. Because what Hajun didn't know was that he already was watching her. Not because of suspicion, but because he couldn't stop himself. As the brothers left the room, Junseo clapped Chul on the shoulder. You always find the most interesting ways to get into trouble. She's just a cook, Chul muttered. Sure, Junseo said with a knowing smirk. And I'm just an accountant. Hajun lingered behind, eyes narrowing as he watched his youngest brother leave. Something about the way Chul said just a cook didn't sit right with him. Maya, he murmured under his breath. Let's see who you really are. That evening, as the mansion came alive with dinner preparations, Maya worked quietly. In the kitchen, completely unaware that the walls now had eyes. Hajun's subtle surveillance had already begun. Cameras monitored the hallways, guards adjusted patrol routes, and one of the staff had been instructed to assist her more closely. And Chul? He stood by the doorway, pretending to taste the stew, but really just watching her. Her movements were graceful, confident, not like someone afraid of power. She chopped, stirred, and commanded the kitchen like a general. You know, he said finally, leaning against the counter, my brother doesn't trust you. Maya froze for half a second, just long enough for him to notice before recovering. Your brother doesn't even know me. That's exactly why he doesn't trust you. She smirked without looking up. And what about you, Mr. Park? Do you trust me? He paused, eyes darkening with both curiosity and something softer. No, he said honestly. But that's what makes you interesting. The Park mansion was quieter than usual that night. The staff had gone home early, and the only sound came from the kitchen, the soft clatter of dishes and the rhythmic hum of the oven. Maya was almost done for the day when a familiar deep voice echoed behind her. You cook like it's art, Chul said, stepping into the light. She didn't turn around. Maybe it is. Then dinner should be beautiful. There was a tone in his voice that made her pause. When she turned, he was holding a bottle of wine in one hand and 2 glasses in the other. Join me, he said simply. Private dinner. Just us. Maya blinked, suspicious. Since when does the boss eat with his cook? Since tonight. She hesitated, her instincts screamed trap, but her pulse said go. She finally nodded. Fine. But if you're planning to interrogate me, I'll charge extra. He grinned, that devilish half-smile she was beginning to hate and crave. Then I'll make it worth your while. They dined in one of the smaller lounges. Candles flickering, low music humming in. The background felt almost normal, if not for the air between them heavy and electric. Maya served him herself, seared steak with garlic butter and wine sauce. When he took the first bite, he leaned back, eyes half closed. If this is poison, he murmured, I'll die happy. She rolled her eyes but smiled despite herself. You think everything's a game. Maybe it is. But tonight, I'm curious about the player sitting across from me. She sipped her wine carefully. And what makes you think I'm playing? Because you don't flinch, he said softly, eyes never leaving hers. Not even when my brothers look at you like a puzzle. Her fingers tightened on the glass. Maybe I'm just good at my job. Maybe you're too good. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut. Her pulse pounded. He was close, too close. He reached out, brushing a stray curl from her cheek, his voice low. Who are you really, Maya? She swallowed hard, meeting his gaze. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. She smiled faintly, her mask sliding perfectly back into place. I'm just a cook. He laughed quietly, but his eyes told her he didn't buy it for a second. You know, he said, leaning in closer. If you were anyone else, I'd have you followed. By now. Maybe you already have, she whispered. He paused, and that was her victory. For a moment, she had the upper hand. But then his hand slid over hers. Slow, deliberate, dangerous. You're playing a risky game, sweetheart. So are you, she said, her voice barely a whisper. The air between them changed. It wasn't interrogation anymore. It was magnetism, raw and inevitable. Chul studied her face, memorizing the way her lips curved when she defied him. The heat in her eyes. He was supposed to be testing her. Instead, he was falling into her. He leaned in just enough that she could feel his breath on her skin. You know what I think? What? She whispered. You're dangerous. And you love it, she said without hesitation. He chuckled softly, shaking his head. You're going to be the death of me, Maya. Then maybe you should stop inviting me to dinner, she murmured. He grinned, lips ghosting near her ear. Never. Just as the air thickened, the door opened, Hajun's voice cutting through the tension. Chul, we need to talk. Instantly, the spell broke. Maya straightened, stepping back as Hajun's sharp gaze flicked from his brother to her. Dinner with the cook? Hajun said coolly. Best meal I've had all week, Chul replied easily. Hajun's expression didn't soften. I want her file updated. I'll speak with her tomorrow. Maya felt her stomach twist. She could tell he already suspected something. Understood, she said quietly, excusing herself. When she was gone, Hajun turned to his brother. You're getting too close. I'm keeping an eye on her, Chul replied. Hajun's eyes narrowed. Make sure that's all you're doing. That night, Maya sat in her quarters, staring at her laptop again, her fingers trembling, slightly over the keyboard. Subject, Chul Park, getting too close. Must be careful. She hesitated, then added another line. Also, can't stop thinking about him. She deleted the last sentence almost immediately. Then, with a sigh, she shut the laptop and whispered to herself, You're not supposed to fall for him, Maya. You're supposed to expose him. But deep down, she knew she already had. The Park mansion was restless that night. It was one of those rare evenings when the sky refused to sleep, thunder growling in the distance, wind whispering through the tall hedges. Maya worked quietly in the kitchen, preparing a late meal for the brothers. The other staff had gone home early again, Hajun's orders. He wanted fewer eyes in the mansion these days, fewer leaks. She could feel it, the tension in the air. Something was coming, and she wasn't wrong. Upstairs, the brothers gathered in Hajun's private office. The lights were dim, the mood darker. Someone's been leaking our shipment's locations, Junseo said grimly, tossing a file. On the table. 2 containers hit last week, both in California. That's not coincidence, Hajun muttered. That's strategy. Chul leaned forward. You think it's Valdez again? No, Hajun said, voice low. New players. Someone we don't know yet. But they're organized. He paused, glancing at a document in front of him. And they knew too much. Exact ports. Exact times. That means they have eyes inside. A heavy silence fell. Hajun's next words came quiet but sharp. I want everyone watched. Even the staff. Chul's jaw clenched. You mean? Yes, Hajun interrupted coldly. Including your cook. Chul said nothing. His hand tightened around his glass, the veins in his arm standing. He didn't like where this was going. Midnight. Rain poured hard now, drumming against the mansion's roof like warning drums. Maya was finishing cleanup when she heard it, the first gunshot. Then another. Then screaming. She froze, eyes wide, heart hammering. The lights flickered. Guards rushed past the kitchen doors, shouting orders in Korean. We're under attack. Panic surged through her chest. She ducked behind the counter just as a bullet shattered the kitchen window. Glass exploded around her. Maya! It was Chul's voice, raw, urgent. She looked up to see him storming into the room, gun in hand, black shirt soaked from the rain, eyes blazing. Stay down, he barked, firing at the intruders flooding in through the side entrance. She covered her ears as the gunfire roared. 2 men went down. Another lunged toward her. She screamed, but Chul spun, shot him in the shoulder, and dragged her behind a marble counter. Are you hurt? He demanded. No, I think I'm fine, she stammered, trembling. Good. Stay behind me. His hand brushed her cheek briefly, just enough to feel that she was real before he rose again, shooting through the smoke. The mansion was chaos. The walls shaking with explosions, alarms screaming. And through it all, Chul fought like the devil himself. When the last of the attackers fled, he grabbed her hand and pulled her through the corridors toward safety. They stumbled into the wine cellar, panting, drenched, and covered in dust. The cellar door slammed shut behind them. For a moment, only their ragged breathing filled the silence. Maya's hands shook. She looked at him, the blood on his arm, the bruise forming on his jaw. "You're bleeding," she whispered. "It's nothing," he said gruffly. I'm fine. But what was that? Who were they?" "Don't know yet," he said, pressing a hand to his side. "But they knew how to get past our security. Someone inside helped them." Her stomach twisted. She realized what he wasn't saying. He was thinking it could be her. "You think it's me?" she said quietly. He looked at her, really looked. His eyes were shadowed, torn between doubt and something deeper. "I don't know what to think anymore." Her breath hitched. "Then ask me. Don't just look at me like I'm a suspect." "Fine." He took a step closer. "Who are you, Maya? Because you're not just a cook. You move like someone trained. You keep secrets. And Hajun was right, your background's too clean." Tears welled in her eyes, but she lifted her chin. "I didn't come here to hurt you." "Then why did you come?" Her voice broke. "To find out the truth. To write about the Park brothers. I'm a journalist. I was supposed to expose everything. The crimes. The power. All of it." Silence. The storm outside raged, thunder shaking the floor. Chul stood frozen, staring at her. The woman who had cooked for him, laughed with him, made him forget the darkness, now admitting she was a lie. "A journalist?" he repeated, his voice rough. She nodded, tears falling. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. You were supposed to be a story. But then..." "Then what?" he asked, voice breaking. "Then I fell for you." The words hung there, fragile, raw, dangerous. Chul's hand clenched at his side. He turned away for a moment, trying to breathe through the storm inside him. When he faced her again, his expression was unreadable. "You should have run while you still could." He stepped closer, his tone softer but still trembling with anger. "Because now, Maya, you belong to me, and I don't know whether to hate you or protect you." Her tears fell faster. "Then do both," she whispered. He stared at her, then pulled her to him in one sudden, fierce motion. She gasped as his lips met hers. Desperate, angry, full of fire and pain. It wasn't gentle. It was everything they'd been hiding, breaking loose at last. When he pulled back, his voice was hoarse. "If Hajun finds out what you are, he'll kill you. Then don't let him find out." He cupped her face, thumb brushing away her tears. "You're playing with fire." "So are you," she whispered. And as the rain thundered above them, they stood together in the dark. A journalist. And a mafia prince. Bound by secrets, desire, and the danger closing in. The Park mansion was in lockdown. After the attack, Hajun's orders were absolute. No one in, no one out. Armed guards lined the halls. Every phone, every document, every person was under scrutiny. Maya moved through the corridors like a ghost, head down, heart pounding. Since the night she confessed the truth to Chul, everything between them had changed. Too raw, too fragile. He hadn't told Hajun about her yet, but she could feel it in his silence. He was fighting himself every second. And worse, she knew her time was running out. Episode 1 ends here. Watch out for episode 2 coming up tomorrow.